I fell in love because in hospitality, there is not 2 days that repeat itself.
Yeah.
Every single day, it's completely different. Every single day is a unique experience. You can change people's lives with one little thing that you just do for them. Some of these guests become your family. They keep coming back just to see you. And that it by itself, it just fill your heart with joy every single day that you get up to work.
Unhospitality, the #1 podcast in the world.
Well, hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Unhospitality, the #1 podcast in the world. I'm joined today by Rosalinda Rodriguez. Rosa is a 28-year industry vet. She's seen a lot in her time in hospitality. She started her career in Walt Disney World at the Swan and Dolphin Hotel, has worked for major brands in Puerto Rico, Mexico, and the United States, of course. And Rosa shares a lot of great stories in this one. We talk about Bad Bunny. We talk about his impact on tourism. We talk about the Disney World effect and the ways that you're trained from a very early start within Walt Disney, how to take care of guests, and how hospitality ultimately changed her in how she interacts with other people and has made her, I would argue, a better person. So a couple of show notes about this episode. First things first, we filmed this episode, just like last week's episode, in the East Hotel, Miami. I talked about it last week. If you don't know this hotel, you should. It's a phenomenal hotel for groups. It doesn't have a ton of space, but man, they use that space well and they know how to take care of clients. And that I think is key. So it's not easy to be a sexy hotel and also very client oriented. You know, some of the sexy hotels forget how to take care of people, and they're not one of them. They get it right. So final note on this episode, I'm still learning how to get this audio thing right. These were the first interviews I've done, not virtually, but in person. And the microphones were talking to each other and picking up a little echo. So I've done everything I can to reduce the effect of the echo. I've spent extensive hours editing these podcast episodes here, but be patient. You might hear some irregularities in the audio, but stick with it. And I appreciate your patience as I learn this craft of podcasting. You guys are awesome. Thanks for following along. Without further ado, on hospitality with Rosalinda Rodriguez. Here's Rosa. You're here. You're a hospitality expert. You've been in it for
Oh my God, I don't even want to say that. About 28 years.
28 years.
28 years.
I'm only 2 years behind you. This year's 27, 26 years total. This fall, I'll be 27 years.
I started when I was 20 years old.
That's crazy. I understand you didn't study hospitality.
No.
Okay.
I finished high school and I went to my university for my bachelor's degree in the University of Puerto Rico, because that's where I'm from.
Okay.
And
PR representing in the house.
correct.
It's having a big year. PR is having a big year.
I love it. I'm very excited about it.
In no small part due to the bunny who is bad.
I was going to say that. I'm like, the bunny who's bad is
He's having
going
quite
to
a
be
year.
our superstar in the biggest stage in the United States. So I can't wait to see him. That is very exciting.
Not to diverge too far off the subject, but when you think about what he's done for the island,
It is impressive.
What an amazing
Who does
contribution.
that for anybody or for any country whatsoever? He decided to do something spectacular and bring tourism and hospitality to a country to make sure that we, in the slowest month of the year, so that's hurricane season for us, where nobody really wants to go and visit because they're scared, and we don't judge them because we have Maria in 2017.
Yeah.
So he made our hotels full, our restaurants. He brought so much to the island, and our people were so proud, and seeing him in the streets were so amazing.
So we can talk about the financial impact to Puerto Rico,
Right.
which was off the charts. But I think he did 31 concerts, maybe 32, 31.
I believe that
Did the
31?
Amazon count for 32 or 31?
No, 31.
Okay. I went for 20, 21, somewhere in that. It was like he was 2/3 of the way through. What impressed me so much, I have a history in Puerto Rico. That's where we met. I worked there for 4 years. The way the island was vibrating with an energy that Puerto Ricans are proud anyway. There's always a party going on. There's always an energy on the island, regardless of when you go. It's a vibrant place to experience. To see the heightened level of energy. We talk on this podcast about connecting, about the impact of tourism. I don't know there's a better example in the last 365 days in the last year that you can point to than Bad Bunny. They talk about the Taylor Swift effect, where she goes to a city and it blows up. There's definitely a Bad Bunny effect because what he did for the island, and I love also the way he held Amazon's feet to the fire and said, "You want to record me for the live stream? Great. You're going to invest in our island too. You're going to put money in schools. You're going to put money in the
Everything that he
infrastructure."
does is always like that. He's always thinking about the island. Even the outfits that he wears for the Met Gala are representative of our island and our culture. It's again, I didn't have the pleasure and opportunity to see him, but I know. But my sister did go, and my sister is she's not a huge fan. She just decided that she wanted to be part of that experience, and she came back saying that this was the best event that she have ever participated on, and she cried and everything. I'm like, "What? That is impressive." But her friend said the same thing. Everybody was so excited because, like, he thought about us and what is it that he needed to do to revamp the island. We went to, again, very bad economical situation due to Maria and everything that happened to the island since then, and he wanted to do something special.
Yeah. Well, we're getting way far ahead of
Absolutely.
ourselves. Although I will say one final note just about the impact of tourism. Talking with the taxi who took us to the concert, he was talking about the people that came literally in hijabs in like they were from the far flung places, the Middle East,
Absolutely.
to come watch Bad. But he's
Yes.
talking about we had people from Australia, from
Uh-huh.
Russia, from
Well,
Uzbekistan. It was
he said, "I'm not
insane.
gonna make any other concerts. You have to come to my island to see me." And by itself, this is the number 1 Spotify artist. Everybody wants to see him. And again, even scenography and everything that he did in the Colosseum was spectacular. It was so unique. It was so well planned, so well marketed. It
The
was
homage to the
just
culture of Puerto Rico. It wasn't
exactly.
just reggaeton. It was
No.
bomba y plena. It
No, no,
was
no,
the
no. The
it was
artists
the
that
deep
went
cuts. Let's also say this too. In a moment of a very how do I put this delicately? A very difficult time for Latinos, for immigrants, for anyone who's diverse in this country, to have someone who is so adamantly proud Latino stand up, I get emotional and say,
yes.
"This is who
This
we
is who
are."
wears, that's it. Unapologetic.
Yeah.
Admire that very much.
And look at how the world is bending towards him. Look at how the impact he's had. It's a beautiful thing. I get emotional about it.
I
Go
do
back
too,
to
I
your
do too.
story.
So
Go back to your
I
story.
understand.
So you're from Puerto
I
Rico.
am from Puerto Rico.
After all of
Yes,
that,
absolutely, Boricua. Yes, so I went to University of Puerto Rico. I graduated with my bachelor's degree, and I came to Orlando, Florida, to what I thought it was gonna be a year, and I decided, like everybody that goes to Orlando, I wanna go and work at Disney World.
they say, by the way, that Orlando is the second largest city in Puerto Rico.
That's correct. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
so
There's
too.
San Juan and then Orlando. Go. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I feel like that. I felt right at home. But at the point when I originally moved 28 years ago, there was a lot of Puerto Ricans, but there was not as many as they are right now. Again,
You
if
were a
I walk in
trailblazer.
Orlando, I'm gonna understand perfectly what you're talking about, right? So I moved there to Orlando and I started working at Disney. I remember the training at Disney and the every day was like an anticipation of what I was gonna learn that day because it was so incredible and so guest services driven. I thought that I was gonna go back to Puerto Rico to study law. And then I pictured myself sitting down in a courtroom defending somebody that maybe is not somebody that I believe in. And I thought to myself, maybe I should pivot a little bit and try to learn a little bit more about this industry to see what this industry can provide to my personal faith and my personal experience in the future. And I fell completely in love. I fell in love because we can in hospitality, there is not 2 days that repeat itself. Every single day, it's completely different. Every single day is a unique experience. You can change people's lives with, or people, let's not say alive, but you can change a people experience during the property for one little thing that you just do for them. These Some of these guests become your family. They keep coming back just to see you every year. And that by itself is, it's so fulfilling. And you just fill your heart with joy every single day that you get up to work. People always say that if you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life. That's how I felt when I started working in Disney, right? So I work in Disney.
And pause right there too, because Disney. I just had a guest on who came from a Ritz Carlton background.
Yes.
When I think of Ritz Carlton training, I think of Disney training. They're almost the gold standard of what training in hospitality is all about. Talk a little bit more about your training and what you learned, the background you have in training in hospitality from a Disney perspective.
That that mindset of is magical. It is. It is magical. It's all guests of how do you make a guest have the best experience? They are spending a lot of money. They are coming, a lot of them.
More than ever these days
Absolutely.
with
Let's don't talk
inflation.
about how much the tickets costs,
Good
right?
Lord.
But you're paying for a unique experience that your kids will remember forever. I remember that this was actually when I was 13 years old, my parents took me to Disney. It was the first time that I got on a plane, not knowing in my future that I was going to take many, 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 many more working in this industry. But at the end of the day, that was the first trip that I've ever had. And I thought to myself that Mickey Mouse was, it was international, and it was, every kid loves it. Doesn't matter that you're in Puerto Rico, you're in the United States, you can be in any Latin country, in any of our, um, you can be in Asia, you can be in Europe, whatever the case is, you know who Mickey Mouse is.
Well, let's look at the Disney Paris,
Exactly, but
Disney
this happened
Shanghai.
after,
Of
right?
course, this is way
So at
later.
that
But
point in
even then, he was an international brand.
when I was 13, I'm like, he brings everybody together. That's how I felt.
So, but let's something I get older, we get older. We believe in the magic at first. The reality of life sets in. The difficulties of hospitality set in. How do you lean into the magic through the cynicism? Perhaps I don't know if that's a fair question, but not every day is rosy. Not every day is magical. Not every day, not for your guests, not for you as an employee. Tell me
Well,
more about that.
from a worker's perspective, I would say cast member.
Yeah,
That's how they're called, right?
there you go.
When you're a cast member, you do have to remember that training many times. I cannot even tell you how many times during the summer month it's you feel like it's 100 degrees outside, and you work in the
It probably is 100 degrees
yes,
outside in
if you work
Orlando.
in the entertainment part of the magical experience, you're very hot, and people want you to be in your 100% 24/7, and it
Makeup running,
exactly,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you're like, "Oh my god, this is the best day of my life,"
You
because it
have
it
to
might
put
be
that
the best day
energy.
of their lives. So
Yeah,
you have to remember all that, and every
yeah.
once in a while, you just wanna run outside and say, "I am going to die here. Heat stroke, somebody call 911. I cannot deal with any more parents trying to make their kids happy."
So how do you still believe? I guess that's the question. How do you
But
still believe to
again,
make it happen?
you
Where you
see,
dig deep down inside of you to make that happen? Maybe
it
not
is
everyone's cut out for
very easy.
hospitality, but tell me, how do you go through that?
It's very easy. You can see the kids' faces
Ah,
when
there you
they're
go.
there. That's it. Forget about the parents every once in a while, because they are not really happy to be there, some of them, right? But kids are always happy. They're very rarely see kids crying unless they want popcorn and the parents don't wanna get it because it's $150,000, right? Because at this point, I don't even know how much they cost.
Don't even
But
go there.
yes, they want a balloon that costs you $35, and you know that you cannot take it home because you're traveling. So I understand that part, but seeing them in the parades, that innocence is just unbelievable. And I started becoming that true believer in what we were doing for every guest. So
Amazing.
when I um, unfortunately decided to leave Disney and start working in the front desk of a hotel property, I still felt that that was part of me.
Well, that's where I want to go with this too, because your career didn't stop at Disney. You
Exactly.
continued on to other brands,
Correct.
and you're not dealing with kids and seeing the magic on their face all the time in some different properties. How do you go on? Just continue with your career path, and I'd love to hear how you keep the spark alive for this industry that can sometimes be it can beat you down sometimes.
It I worked 14 years in Orlando. So although I started with Disney, stayed in hotels that are very close by and have the same philosophy. When you're in Disney and when Orlando, pretty much everybody wants the same. Everybody wants to treat you well. Every guest wants. We want to make sure that every guest interaction is a unique one. That they want to come back. Repeat business is the best business that you can have. We all know that in the in our hospitality career. So we try to make it memorable so they don't even want to go anywhere else that is not Disney World, and make them understand what they actually, even if it's difficult to afford, you should do that because you know that you're going to have an amazing time with all your family. So I worked with that philosophy for 14 years in Orlando, and then I moved to Miami. But that is now engraved in my heart. Like, you take it with you every single time. Also, my parents always taught me that you need to treat people the way that you want to be treated. So
Beautiful.
that's how I try to treat every one of my customers. I want them to know that their business means a lot to us. And that's something that I think that I learned throughout my life, and more so working in this hospitality career. It is tough every once in a while, I'm not gonna lie, because there are some days that I woke up in the morning saying, "Oh my god, I have to see that client again." And I will never forget the one of my great ex-bosses looked at me once and said, "Rosa, don't worry, they will check out." So they will leave us at a certain point, and you may not have to see them again. And I'm like, my god, that is great. So I always heard that. In every one of my bad experiences, I always heard that voice in my head saying, "They will also check out, so you're gonna be fine."
There is a finish line in sight at
Exactly.
some point.
There is a rainbow at
It
the end.
reminds me of a story. I worked in the Bahamas. I was director of sales for a property down there, and we would get a lot of weddings. There was one bride in particular who had a legitimate complaint at first. We had dropped the ball on some of the response times, and we agreed that before the wedding we were going to give her a few things as a concession. Really sorry for the way that we dropped the ball. Well, she called back a week later and she had another complaint. And so we gave a little bit more, but already feeling a little bit like maybe she was looking for excuses. By the fourth or fifth time that she called with another complaint, it's almost like there's nothing even left to give anymore. First of all, and second of all, is it really that big of a deal that this happened? You could tell that she was just there to complain. The final call that I got from her, I went into my boss's office. I said, "Guess who called again?" And he goes, "You know what? Tell her we'll get it right next time." I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "Tell her we'll get it right next time. The way that she is, no husband's going to want to stay married to her for too long anyway. So she'll be married again. When she gets married again in the
So
second
to come
wedding,
here,
we'll get
we'll
it right
give
the
her
next time."
discount. It's
I said,
true.
I wish I could say that to her.
Yes.
I
You're like,
wish.
"No, I can't. I can't say that out loud." But in reality, God bless everybody that works with brides, because at the end of the day, I understand every girl wants to get married, and every girl, the majority of them, right, dream about this day, and she wants it to be perfect. And I'm gonna tell you that that never happens. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm divorced. And on my wedding, I planned it. I was the wedding planner. I was a convention manager for years. I planned this like it was my job. Like I didn't have anything else to do in my life. And I remember seeing what day was the best day to get married in Orlando. That way it wouldn't rain and it would have a beautiful sunset. And everything was set,
Every minute
every
detail was
minute
planned for.
detail.
Yeah.
I had a hurricane that day in my wedding.
You're
You
kidding
never
me.
know what will happen, right? Yes. It is what it is. You cannot account for everything, but brides and mothers of the bride always want perfection because again, they have been all this day every day, and I understand. Absolutely. I've been there. I've been a sister that wants everything perfect for my sister's wedding. I plan it again, and it was again to the detail. If anything would go bad, I don't know. But we all have to be like my sister.
Do
My
you
s
have a story? Do you have a story about a wedding that went wrong on one of your properties that you can recall? Do you
um
something? Hurricanes aside, or maybe
Well, I'll tell
hurricanes
you again,
included?
mine was
Yeah.
a hurricane. I don't think that you can, and he was outside. Like I planned my ex-husband, I remember that for him to call me to let me know that was raining, he needed to drink a lot of alcohol because he was so scared of me, of
What the
of
reaction was
my
gonna be,
reaction. Like, I think that he was half drunk at that point,
and there
and
was nothing he could do about this is not something that you can control.
no,
You have to go with the flow at that
again,
point.
you have to understand, in our business, anything can happen. It is not something that we can rely on that was gonna be 100%. See, whoever tells you that, they're lying, and I don't like to lie at any point of my life, so I kind of understood, like, that kind of stuff happens. See, and again, I've seen crazy things happen in weddings. Do you know how many times I've seen the centerpiece fall in a wedding? And it the majority of the centerpieces are full of water because 'cause they're flowers. You know what happens? It's a mess.
All over the
It's
table,
all over the
everywhere.
table, all the guest dresses at that point, and you're like, "I don't oh, no," So, you don't even know what to do. Or that I seen any musicians that go for the first set and it's great, and then the second set, they drink in the bar, and it's again, how do you actually manage that? You can't. That we're here, this is happening at this
Visions
point.
of Adam Sandler as the wedding singer, like,
And
getting
things like
drunk at
that
the
can
bar.
happen, but you have to be in the best attitude, and I was gonna say, my sister had the best attitude in her wedding. It didn't matter what I was gonna say as a wedding planner that I was at that point too. She was like, "It's fine. I'm marrying the love of my life. I don't mind." And thank God everything was pretty much on point. But again, things happen.
Isn't that a lesson to clients though too? I think sometimes clients expect because they're planning this event with to the minute detail that they expect nothing to go wrong. And that's just not a realistic expectation for anything in life, let alone putting so many moving parts into an event where there's gonna be something that goes sideways at some point.
I say that that's 100% true, but I understand from a client's perspective, and you've been a client, so you know that. You want perfection because you're paying for it, and this is
What do you
your
do in those
money.
moments though? You work in hospitality long enough. Like what happens when something goes sideways from your perspective? What do you do?
I am gonna be very honest, and I go to every client and I own the truth. This is what happened. We lost electricity in the whole property now. So, as soon as we get it back in Puerto Rico, you never know what will happen, right? Um, we will reestablish everything. I'm very sorry, but you have to tell the truth to the client. You can't go around and try to if you tell a client the truth of what is happening, normally people have empathy and they will be like, "I understand." But also as a client have to have a realistic expectation, just like you said. If you actually tell me, "Listen, I want it to be perfect." Well, as a sales professional, I'm gonna say, "I am here to support you and to be sure that I can provide you the best services that we can." But it's a lot of things that go out of our control. We're not robots, right? So
There's even something to be said for when something does go sideways. When you recover, you can that's an opportunity to build a stronger bond. I'm a firm believer in that there's a firm believer in the power of recovery, the power of connection through recovery when something goes wrong, whether it's out of your control or inside your control. The fact that you respond and try and make it right, that's an awesome way to build rapport with the client.
listen, when I've been in as a wedding planner or a meeting planner or an event planner for anything, if anything goes wrong and the person comes to me and tells me the truth and try to create again that bond with me, I will absolutely understand and I will absolutely help you. I had opportunities where that didn't happen, and that will I will never go to that property again. Never. To give you a perfect example, I was planning an event not that long ago. I was actually 2 months ago. I planned this event starting in July, and I wanted the event.
So an event for yourself was a personal event that
It's
you
a
were
personal
planning.
event.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It was my
Hmm.
boyfriend's birthday. Um, his birthday's in November, so we actually I plan everything, talk to the guy about this event, again, since June. We had it all set. We sent the invitations. We had all the RSVPs. I had the music. I had the catering that I needed, the cake, everything was done. Decorations, everything done. The week before the event, they called me to let me know that they needed to cancel it because somebody else booked that space. They didn't actually call me. They
Okay, how did you
texted
get the
me.
message? No.
Yes. It was a WhatsApp message. Will never forget. I have it still because I cannot believe it. In every single place that I can stand and say it, I will say it because you didn't have the courage to call me, Rosa. I am so sorry.
Of course.
It happens.
Well, first of all, how does that happen in the first place? How did was it a one sales manager wasn't talking to the other one, or they thought they
The
could make
owner
more revenue?
decided to rent the whole place. I rented the rooftop, and the owner that apparently decided to rent the whole place to somebody else the week prior. But the people that did the recovery, we found another place, and it was spectacular, and everything went fabulous.
And I hope you never go back to the
I would
place that did
never
you
go
wrong.
back to that place. No, never, never in my life. Again, I'm not gonna post them here in blast, but I should. No, no.
Do we bring out the popcorn and take notes? Well, that's a good segue though. We're here on hospitality, the untold stories of hospitality. You've been in this industry for 28 years. Tell me about situations that you've seen that have shocked you, have
Well, I have many unexpected situations happen. The fun thing
we're
is that
here. This is when I will bring out the popcorn. I want to hear.
so I will tell you about this story because it was quite the story for me because it was very I think that was very traumatizing. When you're become that point, I never finished my story, but I have worked in a lot of different places of the hospital in my hospitality career, right? So I've been a lifeguard, I've been a front desk agent, I've been a supervisor, I worked at the front drive, front office, concierge, club level, conference services, convention services, catering.
Let me pause there for a second too, because I think it's something that doesn't get highlighted enough in hospitality. It's almost a city within a city. Like there's whatever job you want to do, everything from accounting to room service to sales to pool attendant. Like there's a
Whole
job.
world.
It's a world
It's
in
a
of
world.
itself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you sounds like you've taken a trip around the world within a hotel
I
and doing
have
a little
taken
bit of
many trips
everything.
around the world in a hotel.
That's amazing.
Yes. So I found what I really have my call for.
Which is
I love convention service and I love sales.
so making an event happen,
Absolutely.
bringing an event to your
I need to
hotel
see that.
and making it happen.
Standing out in the ballroom of a property and look at that event into his completion and you saying, "I am part of that." It just fills my heart. I love it. I that's just amazing. So that's
I'm thinking
actually
back to so many stories of especially if the sale was hard to make. And then that client, you watch the client come in house and the event goes off perfectly. And then they're shaking your hand on the way out the door, hugging you, crying. Those moments are very fulfilling. I'm sorry. That's a moment of like, we did it. We accomplished your goal. We made that dream come true. Going back to your initial thought about
there's
Disney
some
and
of these
dreams,
clients who, again, they become family to you. And I have clients that I work with right now that I have worked with for years in different one of my roles. And they have known me for years. And that by itself is just
clients who
warming to
become
your heart,
friends. Yeah,
right? These
exactly.
clients
Yeah.
that become friends and family. So yes, absolutely.
But you were about to tell a story. You've done a little bit of everything in the
Exactly.
hotel,
Well,
and
so
you
I
came up against something that
yeah.
was traumatizing, as you
So
said.
although I work in all this different sections of our property, I never work in security, right? So and that's something that I don't have the call for. Like, I'm a little bit scared, and I know that that's the department that I don't even wanna be part of, other than accounting, because I don't have the temple to be in accounting. I cannot sit down to process paperwork. I They are great, and we need them, and they are necessary.
Of course,
But revenue management and accounting, Jesus, no. No, baby Jesus, I can't do it. Nope, can't. I wasn't born for that.
I'm
I
with you.
have to speak all the time. So one night that when I actually became the director of social marketing for property, my general manager told each one of his leadership team that we needed to be MODs. MOD is a director of manager on duty. For that manager on duty, you needed to spend a weekend in the hotel and be the manager for every one of the different departments of the property. And I feel very comfortable in a lot of them.
when something goes wrong at that moment or at the property,
That's the
you
person
are
that
the
you call,
ultimate call. You're the one that gets, you've got to be over everything, overseeing everything,
like a general
and
manager.
a mini general
It
manager.
is
Perfect way to put
that
it.
is correct. So they call me one night, security called me to my room because I'm staying in the hotel to make sure that everything goes well. And they said, "Hey, Rosa, we have this people that have been a little bit loud. So we have gone to the room twice. And for everybody to know, you normally go to the room twice before you actually have to, unfortunately, escort them out of the property or get any extra measurements." Now
And
it's
you
like
were going,
9.
they were going to the room twice because why? Because there was
There were
disturbances.
disturbance. Yes,
Okay.
there was a loud noises coming from the room, and every single time that somebody knocked on the door, they said that, "No, this is not me." I'm like, "Oh, okay, no problem." So all ladies will understand this really well. It's 9:30 at night. You already took all your makeup out. You're ready to go to sleep because everything in the hotel is calm. You have been working since 7 o'clock in the morning. So you expect that everybody will be fine moving forward. So now you have to put again your makeup and dress again. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm going to now talk to somebody that you don't know if they
You're
have
walking
been
into a
drinking.
situation that seems very volatile.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
don't know obviously they have been loud. There's only 2 people in the room, so it's not a party. Something is happening but you're not prepared for it. So how do you actually feel? You're trying to walk down the hallway scared because you don't know. And again, you're escorted with security, but the security in the hotel, they don't have arms. So you don't feel completely comfortable that you can manage every situation in hand. And there is nowhere that you can actually learn that. There's no training for it, right? Um, so before I actually start walking to the room, I am coming from the club level of the property, and there is a beautiful balcony with fire pits in the property, so it's very nice.
Yeah. Tranquil
Beautiful bar,
scene.
very tranquil scene, but a chair falls from somewhere, from a
You're
balcony
kidding
to
me.
that floor, and you're like,
You're
"What
kidding
is
me.
happening?"
That could have killed
Like
somebody.
a big chair, like a leather office chair, the ones that are in each one of the sleeping rooms.
You're kidding
No,
me. This is
absolutely
not a balcony like plastic patio
no, it
furniture.
just felt like it could have killed somebody.
Literally.
Yes. So, I'm like, "This has to be from that room." Now you're more scared
Of
because now you
course.
know person
Is
is
unhinged.
completely unhinged. So I'm walking, but again, terrified. And you cannot look terrified when you go to a room.
I'm scared for you.
Yes. It
Go.
was
What
so
happened?
awkward, so
Yeah.
awkward. I'm like I was thinking to myself, I'm like, "Every year of my hospitality experience, these have trained me to deal with this. You can do this. Like
You're giving
pumping.
yourself a pep
Yes,
talk.
I
Yeah.
can do this."
You've got like Eminem in
Yeah.
your earphones, like mom spaghetti running in your head. Yes.
Absolutely.
You're one
Yes.
shot.
One shot. Yes. So I go to the room and I knock and I say that I'm the MOD and I introduce myself. And I asked the gentleman if everything's okay with the room. We have been getting some nice complaints. And I was wondering if by any chance he knows where his chair is. And the answer to me, he looks at me, he's like, "Everything is great." The chair, funny that you asked, because I was gonna ask you, we don't have a chair. We
Oh,
haven't
you
had a
gotta be
chair. I'm like,
kidding me.
"Wait a second,
Every room in the hotel has a chair.
room in the property. We'll
Magically,
have
you
a
don't have a
chair."
chair, and just by chance, there happens to be a chair
Exactly.
out in
It
the
just
patio that got
happens
thrown from
that
this room.
if you actually go up to the balcony that you have,
It looked
you
down.
look down, you're gonna see that chair, and it just fell a few minutes before when I was on my way here. So, how does people think, right? At that point, of course, I have to escort them out of the property, but again, he was fighting with me. But imagine the person that has to deal with that, or every security officer that we have in each one of the hotels that have to handle that, or people that drink a little bit more than what they are supposed to be drinking, and you have to deal with them at the end of the day. You never knew that you were going to encounter yourself with somebody like that that can throw a chair. I want to make sure that we understand how much those chairs weigh. Like, just dropping that out of the balcony. That is crazy. That is crazy. But that's kind of the stuff that we normally have to handle.
Well, going back to your point, though, or the point we just discussed, like, the hotel's a world in and of itself. You deal with every single thing. You don't go to your office in corporate America from 9 to 5 and have to deal with drunk people throwing furniture out the
No,
balcony. That's just
that's not something that you think
not
that you're
something you
going
prepare
to do.
for. That doesn't
No,
happen at your local bank.
right. That's correct. In hospitality, you never have the same day twice. So you never know. It can happen at any given moment.
We're running out of time. I want to hear about you talked about your motivations for getting into hospitality, the idea that it's a dynamic that never is the same day twice. I love that philosophy. I love that spirit of adventure. 28 years later, what are some of the lessons you've learned? How has it impacted your life? How has it formed you?
Well, I think that it have made me a much better person.
How so?
I am the person that will open your door. And it's funny because if I am actually in an elevator waiting, I will be the last person in because I'm gonna wait for everybody to get in, and the last person out because, of course, it's Disney way. Or if you're actually walking to see trash on the floor, you're gonna go very
Pick it up.
slick without people noticing, and you're gonna go and pick it up, and you're gonna throw it away because you want the best for every place that you go. And it's part of your life. It's engraved in your heart. Uh, Trying to be polite with people, it comes very natural because I work in this industry. My going back to my sister, she makes fun of me all the time because I can be in a airport bar and you leave me there for 10 minutes and I'm friends with everybody at the end. And my sister, again, she's a doctor and she's looking at me like, what is wrong with you? Why do you do this all the time? I'm like, it's engraved in us. We want to make people happy. We want to know about people. We want to learn more about life. We want to travel the world. We want to know what can we do better to service everybody. So I think it have been part of my growth, my professional career, of course, but my growth as an individual. I love what I do. I'm work now in the AV part of everything because I knew a lot about groups. I knew a lot about sales, but I wanted to learn how to do everything in an event. And that was the area that I didn't know about production and audiovisual. And that's another cool area that you can actually learn because you can see so many different aspects of how to make an event unique, how to make it spectacular, how to bring that experience to each one of your clients. So now I have the opportunity of knowing a little bit of everything. Just like you said, every hotel, it's a different world and we live in a big universe. And we have the pleasure of working with one of the best industries in the world that service so many ladies and gentlemen, right? When you actually walk into those properties, you feel that you're loved and that you're valued as a customer, and that's what we try to do every single day, and that's the thing of what this the industry to do it.
As I hear you talk, would it be fair to say that hospitality has opened doors for you and taught you how to open doors for others?
Absolutely. When I came to live in Orlando, I spoke English, but, obviously, English is my second language, and with my hospitality peers, I learned how to express myself much better, but how to even do it without even having to speak. A lot of your associates that you have in hotels might not speak your language, but the hospitality language, everybody does. How do you open the door? And how do you smile every person that you see? That's actually part of our DNA. And again, you don't have to speak my language for me to express my gratitude for you to be there. And I think that we have all learned that. More so if you spend a lot of time in hotels as a guest or as a peer, uh, member of the staff, right? So,
Yeah. A
absolutely,
team
a team
member.
member,
Yeah. A
cast
cast
member.
member. There you go. Final thoughts. How would you like to end our conversation here, Rosa?
Um, it has been a pleasure. I would love for people to learn more about our industry from our perspective and from seeing the things that they don't see every day. Try to be try to learn from us to be a little bit more, um, understanding. We are here to support everybody. We're not it's tough when people go to the front desk and start screaming at them because at the end of the day, it's not their fault. They didn't set up your reservation. It's the world behind them. This is so my goal is that they with this great podcast, they can see the things that we go through. They're crazy things that we go through every single day, but understand us a little bit better. We're here again to make your stay an amazing one and a unique one. Let us be part of that, and we're excited to be part of it.
We're empathetic and you hope that the empathy becomes contagious. Love it.
Yes.
Rosalinda, thank you so much for spending time with us on Unhospitality, the number one podcast in the world. We will be back with another episode soon. Every Friday, we launch an episode. So please continue to support. And until then, safe travels.